Hi everyone, so recently I just uploaded a mouth tutorial, how to draw mouths, and a lot of people requested me to do more tutorials about like facial features, so I decided to do ears next because I don't find them as hard as eyes and noses, because I find eyes and noses fairly difficult compared to ears and mouths. Well, mouths are pretty difficult as well, but ears I don't find to be that hard because you don't really see them most of the time, and if you look at a reference picture, they're really confusing. They kind of take a while to remember what they look like, but looking at a photo, they're not that difficult to draw because they're fairly flat, but it can be hard to kind of understand the shapes. So I'm just going to go through different ways you can simplify drawing an ear. So I'm just going to start off with the basic shape. It kind of connects to the head. It's like a hook almost. I don't really know how else to describe it. And this is like the earlobe part down here. And up here is like a big chunk of a bunch of detailed stuff, and then in here is detailed stuff as well. But it connects to the head here, and it connects to the head here. And there's usually some shading under here, and this actually points down more like that. And I like to always include the little line up here, and it kind of goes in, and there's a line that just runs down the side of the ear and fades out right there. And you can even go into more detail and add another section here, which is another little line. There's a lot of little details inside an ear. It's pretty complicated, which is why I like to simplify them a lot, but I'll show you how I simplify them. And you can really make ears shaped any way you want. Some of them are more round, some of them stick out more, some of them are more flat on the top, some of them are more pointing upwards. There's even like a little shaded part here. I'm just going to kind of define the details a bit more. So there's this part here inside the ear, which I think is pretty important to draw. There's this part up here, which I always like to include, this little line, and it kind of fades out here. And then there's another line that comes out from here, and it's fairly dark in here and in here. Those are the two darkest parts of the ear. I'm just looking at a reference photo of just a basic ear. And here it kind of curves in. And here's like this little area that's kind of in the ear. The top of this ear bothers me a little bit. I'm going to fix that up. So this is your basic. There's also a bit of shading here. I'm not going to go into too much detail. This is just like your basic ear shape. It's really hard to kind of get the details to look readable because there's just so much going on. But this part here kind of curves inwards like this. So I don't know why I made that curving out. But I think I like to remember is to make this part kind of curving inwards. And this part curls up, and it kind of fades into the skin of the face, which starts around here. So that's like your basic ear. And I'm just going to like show you how you can continuously simplify the ear. So I'll do like two more. So when I'm just sketching out ears, I just like to make the top kind of big like that and curve it in at the bottom. I just start with the basic outline like that. And I kind of do a little line going up like this and make it fade out. And then I like to make the inside of the ear there. And then I do another little line like that. So this isn't exactly the same as that, but this is how I like to simplify the shape and kind of stylize it. So I kind of combine shapes together, like I combined this together and I only made one line going along like that. And I like to keep it bending inwards there. And I would add the shading here. Up here, there's a little part there you could include if you wanted to. You could even go like that. So there's like a way you can simplify it further. This is how I usually draw ears. This is a little bit more detail than I would normally do. And then, of course, if you just want to make it a basic ear, like super basic cartoony ear, you can even like stretch the shape of it a bit more. Let me just start that over. You can like square it off a bit. Add some style to it. I don't really know how else to describe it. And then some people just do like a little line and then something like that. That's just like a really simple way you can draw an ear. So this is like the most complicated to the most simplified, depending on your style. You can just eliminate details and combine certain lines together as you see fit, because that takes a long time to draw, and sometimes it's overwhelming to have a super detailed ear on a really simple cartoony face. So it's a good idea to kind of simplify things down to match the rest of your style. I probably made this part here too thick, but it really depends on the way you want it to look. I'm going to go through different angles of the ear. So normally you'd only see the ear looking like this if it was a profile view, like, and then the ear would kind of come off the head like that. So this is kind of the profile view of an ear. So now I'm just going to show you how an ear would look if the person's head was kind of like a straight on view like this. So the ears would be kind of coming off the side. So let's say this is your head, and it's kind of a profile view. So this is the face. Your ear kind of lands in the middle of your face from your chin to the top of the head. It's roughly in the middle, and it kind of starts where the top of the eyelid is. So let's say this is the top of the, or this would be the top of the eyelid. The ear would come off here. Some people's ears stick out really far, and some people's ears are more flat on their head. But generally from the side, you see less of the ear, and the part up here kind of, you can see the front of it curl backwards. So that's what I'm gonna show here. I'm just gonna erase this head. So this is a front view ear, I guess. So it's a little bit more flat, and I like to make the top kind of bend outwards and have it curve in, and then the earlobe kind of comes out. This is one way you can do it, but everyone's ears are shaped a bit differently. And the top part here kind of would fade out, kind of disappear. You can add an extra line in there. And then this would be the side of the head. So that's one way you can do it. Everyone's ear is shaped differently. You can make it more straight. You can make it more of a ear like this. And then the hair would come down like that. And you can add as much detail or as little detail as you want. Just everything kind of would become, it would be bigger in the front, and kind of the perspective would make it appear like thinner and smaller near the back. So that's kind of like a side view of the ear. And of course the shading, like this is a fold in the skin, so like the shading, not really a fold, it's like a ledge, so the shading would fall down like that if it's coming from above. This part here would have some, so you'd see the front part of the thick ridge at the top, and it would kind of fade into the back. That's kind of how I do it. And another kind of side ear you could do if someone's ear sticks out a bit more, let's say this is the side of their face, you'd see kind of the inner part, this ledge, and it kind of just bends inwards like this. So you'd see the front ledge, and the inside of the ear kind of sticks out, so this part here would be shaded in, and that's their earlobe, but it kind of bends in towards their face, like the top bends out and the bottom kind of bends in. And now if you're looking at the back of someone's head, it's kind of hard to find reference pictures of this, but I managed to find a few. So like this is their head, but this is the back, so like their neck comes down like this. This still looks like the front. So this is the side of their face, and the ear kind of comes up and goes down, and you can see the inner part of their ear right there, and it kind of gets thinner in the middle and thicker at the bottom because that's the earlobe part, and you can shade that in. And this is kind of what ears look like from the back. So like this is the back of their head, this is their neck, if that makes sense. So that's the back of their ear. If the lighting's coming from above, there'd be like a little highlight up here, and it's fairly dark down here where the earlobe is. So that's what the back of an ear looks like. It looks really weird, but I think if you have a full face drawn, or like the full back of the head, you can tell more what it is because it's in context of the rest of the face. Usually like when I'm sketching, like I'll have a head like this, just like a quick shape. This is the neck, and then I'll just kind of drop the ear in. Like I make the top part stick out, and then if it's from the other side, I just kind of make it more squished. The more the more turned their head is, I make it squished more, and if their head is facing more to the side, I kind of make it stick out more, and then I just draw in the one line there. Like that's how I do it quickly. when I'm sketching. And of course, like the eye line falls where the tops of the ears are, and it's kind of in the middle of the face. These are just like basic rules, not really rules, basic guidelines. I also want to show how the ear connects to the head when you're doing a profile view, just like with the jaw line and everything. So looking at my reference photo here, so the nose would come out here, just going to do this quickly, the lip, the chin, and it kind of, the jaw kind of curves upwards. So the top of the ear lines up with the top of the eye. And just looking at these photos, for some people, it's slightly lower, for some people, it's slightly higher, but roughly the top of the ear kind of lines up with the eyeball. So I like to make the top a bit flatter, come out and curve down. And then here, there's some shading, and that's kind of where the jaw ends. Like the jaw kind of meets up with the ear. Like if you feel the bottom of your earlobe, you'll feel a little curved bone. And you don't necessarily have to connect them. You can add it underneath and then have the ear above it like that. So like if you feel on your face, there's like a hard curved bone and then your earlobe starts immediately, but it can vary from person to person, but the ear kind of follows the line of the jaw. So it kind of goes up like that. And then just, I like to do simple details, but you can do it as complicated as you want. Going back to the ones up here, I kind of made the earlobe too thick. I think I made her ear too small. But I mean, some people have big ears, some people have small ears. The thing about ears is everyone's ear looks different, but there's a basic structure that they all kind of follow. And the ear kind of connects to the jaw, and there's like shading under the ear because it casts a shadow because it's a wide area that would cast a shadow. And the hair comes down like this. And you can make the hair however you want, but this is an ear tutorial, not a hair tutorial. You don't have to necessarily draw the whole jaw. And I find it really fun to draw like hair tucked behind ears. I just think ears add a lot to the composition of the face, and it can really, without an ear, like ears just add a lot of interest. So like if you have a hard time drawing them, looking up reference photos is really, really helpful because ears are pretty flat, and it's not too difficult to draw flat things because like noses are very round and mouths have a very specific way they look, and eyes as well, but ears are just flat geometrical shapes. That's how I like to look at them, so I find them easier than noses, eyes, and mouths. I hope these tips kind of helped you. I also have a mouth tutorial, and I hope to do more tutorials like this in the future, so I'll link all of those in the description, all of my past tutorials. If you found this useful, please like the video and subscribe to see more videos because I post twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any more tips, leave them in the comments. And thanks for watching.